Hello, today I'm going to retell you a story, Jupiter 5. It's a science fiction story and it takes place in our galaxy. So, according to the story, the first Martian expedition uh, found some remains of two high advanced civilizations which had perished because of the unknown reason. And after it, um, a famous astronaut, Professor Foster, also had an expedition to Mercury, and he found there also uh, some things, some remains of aliens and those races. After it, he suggested that um, those races had tried to colonize all the smaller planets in our solar system. And also, he suggested that he would find some more proofs on um, Jupiter's fifth moon because uh, it was brighter than it had to be with such a small size. Um, so Professor organized a space trip and to Jupiter 5 to that moon, and he also took with him to his students, Bill and the main character. And at first, those students weren't excited. They behaved in a skeptical way because they didn't believe actually to what believed Professor and his stories and in his suggestions. But after the crew landed on Jupiter 5, they changed changed their minds completely. And because they saw that the moon was empty inside and it was covered with metal and it had it had some holes, so the astronauts could climb inside the shell. And after they climbed inside, Professor climbed the first, and they discovered actually the main character um, had told the idea, said that his idea that it wasn't a moon, but it was a spaceship, a giant spaceship left by those aliens. And Professor told him that it was right, and Professor told them that he actually had known that it was a spaceship before, but he just uh, hadn't told them because he hadn't been sure about it. So it was a giant spaceship, and inside that shell, they found some frozen water and some things for living. And the main character found a statue of an alien. It was large and reptilian-like, and he called it Ambassador. And after they got outside, they noticed that another spaceship landed on Jupiter 5, And when they saw the people who were there, Professor told them that it was Randolph May's crew, and Mace was Professor's good friend, and there also were Ryan Mitchell, Mace's secretary, and Donald Hopkins, his pilot. So Professor wasn't really glad that Mace came to Jupiter 5 because Professor knew that maybe Mace would try to steal his professor's discovery, and that's why Professor made some rules. He told Mace not to take anything from the ship, and he also told them to leave the moon at the same time with Professor's crew. And after it, they lived on Jupiter 5 for a few days, and the main character showed the statue to Marion. And when the day of going back to Earth came, the main character was packing, and he suddenly realized that he had forgotten something inside the shell, and he went there to take it, and also he went to say goodbye to Ambassador, and then he saw that there wasn't the statue wasn't there, and he realized that Mace's crew had stolen it. So he went to his ship and woke up his crew and told Professor everything. So they started thinking about some ways how to deal with that problem. And the best idea was to pinch the fuel from Mace's spaceship. So while Mace's team was sleeping, they did it easily, and after it they called they connected with Mace's ship, and so they asked them to return the statue back to return the statue, but Mace got really angry, and he went to Professor's ship and told that he won't return the statue anyway. And after it, Professor came up with another idea. He decided to threaten Marion, and he pretended that he was trying to kill Mace, and his professor's crew threw Mace to Jupiter, and Marion and actually the main character believed that Mace could die so they got really scared, and Marion, of course, returned the statue. But after it, Professor explained that there hadn't been any danger for Maze, and of course Maze also knew it, and so Professor returned the fuel to Maze's ship, but he took a part of it to his own ship to carry the statue to Earth, because of course Mace's crew returned the statue not inside the shell, but to Professor's ship. So after they returned to Earth, there was an episode which in the end of the story there which is in the end of the story. The main character went to a museum to look at the statue, and he met Marion and Mace, and they had lunch, and the main character found out that Mace actually doesn't bear any grudges. That's all. Thank you for watching.